What if MC, I'm talking about Mariah, what if she took off all her clothes in her latest performance? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, just kidding. Well, you know something? I mean, if you looked at, I don't know if you watched her documentary or looked at any of the news episodes about her progression, or I don't know what you want to call it, spiral into the world of chaos. Well, you know, she's known as a diva. But I don't think of her as a diva. I just think of her as, well, I'm not even sure what the right word is, to be honest. But I mean, let's just go back to the beginnings when when we first ever heard about her. This was back in this was in the 90s, early 90s, I guess. When she did her first album, you know, the Vision one. Well, she had some really, really good songs in it. And if you look at some of the songs, they're really, really, they have a nice simplicity to them, yet they have a complexity and an emotional complexity. Some of her lyrics were really, really, really good. Like the one from Vision of Love or Love Takes Time, you know. Some of these songs were her earlier classics. But now look at her now. I mean, look at the progression over the last decade. Or actually 2 decades, I should say. Her first earlier albums were all right. And then if you don't know if you noticed, maybe her future albums, I mean, her earlier albums like Daydream, you know, with the fantasy tracks and all, they're okay. They're getting better. I mean, she was experimenting, mixing hip hop, you know, going into cross different genres and etc. etc. She came up with her music box, which had a really hit song, Hero. But then if you look at her later sis, you know, even though she was, you know, becoming a mega superstar, a mega super pop star, I don't know if you noticed the changes over the years. Is it just me, or she seems to be wearing less and less, and she's being more revealing and more revealing, even in her songs? Maybe it's just me, but in her future albums, like when she does Rainbow and stuff, you know, I mean, look at the cover. She's in a bathing suit. I mean, some of us, we of course, you know, we like it and stuff. But I'm just saying, I don't know if you haven't noticed. And then in her future albums, like Butterfly, she's even taking off more. And then we have Charm Bracelet, when, you know, after the Glitter album, when she went kind of loony, supposedly. I don't think she went loony. Everyone says she went loony. Well, maybe a screw just fell out up there. But I don't think she went loony. I mean, she started to do strange stuff, but that doesn't mean you're loony. I mean, we all do strange stuff. I know she had that one thing with Carson Daly. What was up with that? I mean, all the media, I think they blew it out of proportion. They're just exaggerating. I mean, sure, she's taking off, you know, a little more here and there. But I'm just asking, you know, if this progression continues, I mean, even in her live performances, did you see the Adventures of Mimi? Did you see that documentary? I just wonder. I know she's doing her new tour now, Angel's Advocate. I just wonder what's next. I mean, how far can you really go as an artist? I mean, how far would she take it? The real question is, why is she doing all this? I mean, supposedly she says in interviews to liberate herself and to express her freedom, you know, the emancipation of Mimi. But is there something really more going on up there than we really know? Down there in her heart? I mean, why is she doing all this? I mean, maybe she wants to remain as a top-selling artist, but does she really have to do all this to become top-selling when she really is top-selling? I mean, look at her first album. She had so much clothes. She looked like she was a farm girl, as she said. She had on all of her clothes, yet it became a platinum album. All this just reminds me of that show that I just watched a couple days ago, last week. I forgot what it was called, but basically it was on channel something, 70 something. You know, one of those strange channels. You know, they're showing all the bikini girls. I forgot what state it was. I think it was Miami. Well, basically they're showing the different levels. Get this. The different levels of acceptance of girls in bikinis. They're showing very, very revealing bikinis and different ones. and they're showing which is acceptable, which is legally acceptable, and then of course they had to show the ones that were not legally acceptable to show a comparison. But let me tell you, the ones that were legally acceptable are very, very close to the ones that were not legally acceptable. It just reminded me of Mimi as her album covers and her, all her photo shoots and all. It just kind of reminded me of that. And I'm just asking once again, how far will she go? Are you listening, Mimi? And you too, Nick. Now, don't get me wrong, she does look good in her revealing outfits. But I'm just saying, do you really have to dress all that provocative? I mean, when you go to these award shows too, I mean, did you see her at the screening of Precious? I mean, she looks good, of course. I mean, if you got it, flaunt it, that's what they say, right? But I'm just saying, is it all that necessary? And isn't it a little bit much sometimes? Especially for us viewers? I mean, we all know, whether you have makeup or not, except that one scene in Precious, of course, you do look good. You're precious to us. And you don't need to put on all that makeup either. We saw you do that little striptease on Carson Daly. And we know you didn't like the way the media portrayed you afterwards, so why are you continuing it? I'm just asking. I'm not suggesting you stop, but I'm just asking. Some audience members do like it when you do the striptease because you're teasing us. But what is the purpose? What is the point? That's just my question. Can you reply to my video and let me know? Please? Pretty please? Please?